Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. Now in today's video, we actually have again another very interesting device, and this time it's actually from Infinix called the Infinix GT 20 Pro. Now just to give you a bit of a heads up, what is this phone all about? Well, basically this is an affordable gaming phone from Infinix that costs RM1299, and for that amount of money, you're actually getting quite a fair bit of features packed into this really interesting package. So in today's video, we're going to take a quick look at the kind of key specifications that you might want to take note of, and of course share a little bit of the gaming experience and what you can expect with this guy. So without further ado, let's jump into the video right away. Alright, so first things first, we have to talk about the elephant in the room, which is obviously that cyber mecha design going on at the back. Guys, this is definitely one of the more interesting designs that I've seen to date. And of course, the key thing that actually stood out for me is that loop at the back there, that LED kind of loop. And you can actually change it up to use a couple of different effects. There's a total of 4 effects and a couple of different colors that you can choose depending on what you prefer. So again, this is a very cool look, and I just love the fact that these lights are going on and off at the back there. Very nice. Alright, so now on to the more serious stuff. Let's talk about what's powering this device, and for that, Infinix is calling this the dual chip gaming beast. And because there's actually 2 separate chipsets that we want to focus on today. Now first things first, let's talk about the main processor, and for that we do have the Dimensity 8200 Ultimate. Now this is a 4nm processor, so it's actually very efficient while being able to extract the maximum power. I did run it very quickly through AnTuTu, and you can see that actually it's got a score of like 928,000. Guys, this is actually very high for a phone of this price point, and again, these days we are not getting a lot of good deals, but here is one that actually just came along. In terms of your RAM, it does come with 12GB, and you can actually expand it by an additional 12GB, so you get a total of 24GB, including the extended RAM. And storage wise, you do get that 256GB, which should be enough to install all your kind of favorite games. So that's the first chipset that we're going to talk about. Now the second one is actually a gaming display chipset. What is going on here is that we actually have this thing called MEMC, which is very similar to what you get on your expensive, OLED TVs and all that. But we're actually having it here that actually helps to, compensate for your motion. Now this actually is very useful whenever you are gaming, because let's say your frame rate is not high enough, this MEMC will actually kick in and actually allow you to have a higher FPS than what the game originally had. So you actually be able to enjoy an even smoother gaming experience. Nice! Alright, so those are the 2 main chipsets on board, which again I think really helps out in that gaming, which we will talk about later. Now if you just take a look at the front, what's going on here is that we do have a fairly large display. The good thing here is that the bezels are very minimal on each side, and the more important point here is that we do have that 144Hz refresh rate, which is something that again you don't really see at phones at this price point. Don't forget, this is actually an OLED display. That means that your colors, the saturations, the contrast levels, the viewing angles, everything is going to be great, but with that additional 144Hz refresh rate, gaming on it, just viewing your social media content is just going to be so much smoother. Right, now let's talk a bit about the gaming experience. How does it really feel like to game on here? In case you do not know, the phone itself is the MALMY partnered phone. So obviously if you're playing a lot of Mobile Legends, you can expect the best experience. Now I'm a bit smiling here because that's the game I play the most. I actually play 1 or 2 hours of Mobile Legends every day, and I found that after playing so long on this device, it does not really heat up at all, and I was actually able to enjoy my games very nicely on this particular device. Now obviously if you're going to be playing games like PUBG as well, you can also enjoy a very high graphic level on this Infinix GT 20 Pro. Now if you're talking about games like Genshin Impact, which is like super graphic intensive, obviously there's going to be a little bit of heat, but Infinix has put in a fairly large cooling chamber on board so that you can actually help to reduce the kind of heat. And when I was just playing Genshin Impact as well, I noticed that it didn't really hurt my hands. Some phones, it gets so hot to the extent where it's just too warm and too uncomfortable to play, but it does not happen here on the Infinix GT 20 Pro. Now at the end of the day, I think this is a very solid device if you are going to be gaming a lot, not just because we have that MEMC that just smooths out everything, but we also have that esports mode. This actually helps to reduce any kind of disruption when you are gaming, and of course you can also enjoy a couple of features that are usually found on higher end chipsets to enhance your performance and provide you like serious level gaming power. Now just in case you're wondering about the sensitivity of the display itself, it does come with that 360Hz touch sampling rate and 1500Hz of instant touch sampling rate. Now while I was just playing games, I also noticed a couple more things that I want to highlight here. The first one is actually in terms of the stereo speakers on board. These do actually get very loud, and because they're tuned by JBL as on other Infinix devices as well, you get a sort of like surround sound kind of feel on this device. Again, very very good. And when you talk about the bypass charging, guys, do you know that bypass charging is available on this Infinix GT20 Pro. Now, what bypass charging really means is that, say for example, you're running low on juice and you just need to plug in your charger to charge the phone. You know, on a normal device, it will start to heat up because the charger is actually charging directly into the battery itself. But with bypass charging, the charger is actually supplying power directly into the device, so you won't have a phone that's actually heating up when you're playing while being plugged in. Pretty cool. Other than that, a couple more things to note is that we have an enhanced gyroscope on board. We also have the X-axis linear haptics. That means that your vibrations are going to be very crisp and nice. And last but not least, we also have tilt controls to provide you with lightning fast haptic feedback. Now, when it comes to gaming phones, a lot of manufacturers tend to cut down on their cameras at the back. This time around, we do get a triple camera setup. I would say that the main sensor here is the one that you want to take note of because it's a 108 megapixel unit that comes with OIS. So taking photos on the Infinix GT20 Pro was actually quite good. I noticed that photos were able to capture a lot of detail during the day as well as at night. But the OIS on board really helped because sometimes when you're taking night images or if you're just taking videos, the OIS will actually help to keep things stable, and it's definitely a feature that you will want on a phone at this kind of price point. Now, last but not least, before we go, I know a lot of you might be concerned with software updates on an Infinix device, but the good news here is that Infinix is pretty committed to the GT20 Pro, and this time around, Infinix is actually committed to providing 2 years of Android updates and up to 3 years of security patches. Quite nice, I would say, on the Infinix GT20 Pro. Alright, so that pretty much sums up our quick review of the Infinix GT20 Pro. If you want to find out more information as well as promotions, do check out the link down below. Infinix says that they'll be giving away a GT Pro gaming kit that actually consists of a case, a cooling fan, and finger sleeves, that actually is quite limited, so you might want to check that out if you do plan to buy this device. Let me know what you think about this phone itself. Is this something that you might want to consider? Let me know down below. Again, thank you for watching today's video all the way to the end, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Do take care and stay safe. Bye bye.